Morning, everybody. I've swapped seats today. Normally I sit there, or you normally see me, and the missus sits here when we come in and we have a drink and talk about the day. But behind her is that. And I thought it might be kind of fitting. Although, as someone did point out, it's not the Second World War. London's not on fire. It's not going to go on for 5 years. You've been told to stay home for 2 weeks and watch TV. Worst things can happen. Saying that, for some people, it's quite a catastrophe, isn't it, really? But, I'm sure we'll come to all this in time. But, yeah, interesting, general observations, really. The masks. Oh, before we do that, shout-outs. Steve... Oh, no, sorry. We come to you in a minute. Sanjeev Kanda in the long wheelbase sprinter, who, when you're doing that thing where you're driving along the motorway, and you think, that van's been sitting next to me for a while now. And you look across and they're going... So, yeah, good to see you too, mate. And also to Doreen, who I bumped into on the St. Neots job when we had to find an aircraft hangar in the middle of an airfield, which wasn't labelled or marked in any way, shape or form. And when you ring him, it goes to answer phone. But we did finally find it. And I'm chatting away to the guy and he says, "You look ever so familiar. Do you make videos?" Yeah, that's me. And that was another interesting one. That was where the guy turns up... And he turned up in a van, jumped out, said hello to everybody, jumped on the fork truck, then put his mask on. Because clearly it can only get you if you're on a fork truck. But if you're in a van or walking around, that's fine. Yeah, and all that, the points of these masks, people have got the masks on, they take them off to talk to you. Or my favourite one, the ones that wear them around down the chin. Because presumably they're assuming that they're going to get infected through their beard. That's not going to do a lot, mate. Or the other guy at Hermes who had a scarf on. Now, bearing in mind that you could probably shove a pencil through, through a scarf with no problem, and this thing is like millions and millions of micrometers, don't think that's going to be a lot of use. But hey, makes you feel better. Makes you look like an outlaw. 6-gun, Stetson, really look the part. But yeah, also I want to give a big shout out to... why don't I ever write things down properly? Steve, he left a load of comments, but Steve, thanks, mate, who's converted some of his fleet over to, he's doing essential deliveries for the NHS, and he's also doing, going to bookers and doing shops for people's homes. So, yeah, I'm still kind of working, and if I am working, I'm going to carry on working, because if I can keep taking money, and we'll get onto that one later on as well, I'm going to, because I need to. But if I can't, and there's nothing out there, if there's anything I can do to help, I'm going to do my best to help. So, and I would, obviously, it goes without saying, it's good for me to say, but I would say to any of you out there, if there's anything you can do, well done you, basically. But I don't also, on the flip side of things, if you've got family, you've got young children, you need to isolate, you've got to do that too. You've got to do what's best. Do what's best for you, do what's best for your family, and if you can, do what's best for your community. But hey, that kind of goes without saying, doesn't it, really? Anyway, yeah. Oh, by the way, Nick Harper, Mr. Harper Valentine, it was his idea to sit in front of posters, so cheers. Right, people who are flat out at the moment, Gary John Baker, who swapped over from tankers, oil tankers, to fridge deliveries in his HGV. I imagine he's going all over the shop at the moment, bless him. I don't think he's allowed to sleep. Having said that, I think he's got holiday booked to the end of January. He says, "Oh, God, I wish I didn't have it now," but there we go. And also Tom J.H. Page, who's at Ocado, he said it's gone absolutely mental. My cousin's Ocado, and I did try and ring him. And I don't think he's got time to breathe, let alone talk. Although he did actually, cheers, Darren. He did put on the thing. Apparently, and I didn't even realise until he said it, I've gone over 300,000 views. Soon be 1 million. I thought it won't soon be 1 million, but yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I didn't even know. I had to go and work it out, go and look it up. But yeah, cheers, mate. I hope it's all right for you and the guys. I hope you're not too ballistic out there. Yeah, and also to Jason Burke. Mate, Jason delivers for the NHS. So you imagine it would be crazy for him. This week he got laid off. How does that work? Now this is something I find very frustrating. I mean, they're saying all this stuff, aren't they? They're saying, oh, you can get loans and self-employed people can get loans and you're going to get 8% of your wages and all this kind of stuff. But then we start drilling into it. You can get the loan, but you can't get it till June and it's only based on 3 years' income. And of course, you've got to pay it back. And you're going to pay it back at a rate of interest. And right, well, how much help actually is this? I mean, if we can struggle through, I would be more inclined, I think, to just ring up all the bills and you can have a mortgage holiday, but that doesn't mean you don't pay the interest on the mortgage. That just means they rack it up and tack it on. So I suppose you've got to do what you've got to do. Just ring up if you can't pay it, the gas, the electric, all of them. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And say, look, guys, everyone's in the same boat. I keep saying no one's going to knock on your door, are they, and go, you owe us this money, Mr. Smith. They ain't going to turf you out your house. We're all in the same boat. But I kind of wonder how much help this help actually is. Interesting to hear your comments on that, but I'm going to try and do my best to keep running and see if I can get through without it. But having said that, it seems it's dropping off. It's going to drop off, isn't it? Stands to reason. Places are shutting. And yeah, anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself because I've got this written down, but we'll get back to it, I suppose. Darren Waters, he says we have rumours of chemist delivery and there's also, and food. I tell you what, I haven't noticed any more chemist deliveries. I haven't noticed any more food deliveries. What I have noticed is a lot more multi-drop. Hermes has gone mental. I was in there about 4 times this week, and I imagine, presumably, everybody's going to the online thing. And I keep saying I question that as well, because one of the jobs I had this week was, and you don't know whether it's an essential job or a non-essential job. As one of them turned around and put, I'm just jumping ahead of myself. Tell you what, we'll come back to that again. Right, let's just get back to it in time. Valentin Beloff, his CX is finishing at the end of the week. We might have a solution to that. Stay tuned to the end. Right, Gareth Vickers. It's his 4th week on the CX, and he said it's clear that trade is dropping off. And I mean, I would be inclined to agree with you, Gareth. He's going over to Hermes, I think. There are jobs out there. I mean, that we've been offered a few of them as well. Multi-drops, you know, one of our mobs doing them, and it's you might get 150, 200 parcels. And it was in London, because London's empty. He said he's having it off in 4 hours. So 150 quid for 4 hours work isn't too bad. I personally, I mean, it's coming out of South London as well, so I'd have a way to pick it up. But I've always thought, I don't want to do these. If I can, I'm going to continue doing, even if it's short distances, little drops, little pallets or what have you, and try, or even trips into Hermes, but that the other way round. What you end up doing then is you pick up from the supplier and you take the parcels to Hermes and then drop them there, and then the little vans will come in and take the parcels and drop them all around. So rather than going and having to go to 200 houses, I have to go from the supplier to the Hermes main depot so that they've got the parcels to deliver, and I'd rather do it that way around. I don't get me wrong, if it's a street name or a house name or a number, that's fine. If it's a village and it's got a name like Oakley's, you spend forever finding these things, drive you mental. So if I can avoid that, I will, but if at the end of the day that's all that's there, that's all we have to do, isn't it? Ian Merrick, now this is another thing. Ian Merrick says, we got a text message, I got a text message saying, if it's essential, then you go to work. If not, stay at home. And as someone else said later on, Paul O'Bevan said, we are key workers. Now, the question is, we are key workers sometimes. Like I say, one of the jobs I had this week was delivering parts for fridges, and it was like a factory fridge. So, and they were keeping food. Now, if that breaks down, the food goes off, we're in trouble. One of the Hermes jobs this week was delivering toys. Now, someone turned around to me and said, well, toys are obviously essential because with everybody having their kids at home, if the kids don't get new toys, the parents are going to kill them. I have to question sometimes whether what I'm doing is essential. All I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that it must be essential because A, if it's not essential, they wouldn't be open or shouldn't be open. And B, they wouldn't give me the job unless it needed to be done, you know. Gary Jarvis has actually been asking them. He's ringing them up and saying, is this an essential load or not? And he says, I'm getting quite a bit, I get a bit of lip sometimes. He said, but the thing is, if you get lip, kind of answers the question for you, isn't it, really? It's just, what do you mean? What is it? It's shoes. that kind of thing. So, but no, I'm just going to assume that. And also, there is that other thing that the health minister turned around and said: if you can work from home, do. If you can't work from home, then you've got to go to work. Now, the construction sites are still open. Are they essential? One of the offices in Canary Wharf can't wait 2 weeks. And obviously, if the construction sites are essential, and I'm delivering to construction sites, as I was this week, that makes me essential. I think that at the end of the day, I don't know if it's essential or not, but I don't actually think I'm doing anything wrong. If I do get stopped and I find out that I'm doing something wrong, then I'll have to rechange my behaviour, won't I, really? But this is another question that's come up as well, because Mark Lackland said he's gone from Feltham to Rochdale, so he's living there at the moment till the job pings up. Now, as I said like in one of the videos during the week, if you're going to, so I'm driving, when I get my job for first job in the morning, I'm driving to the job, so I'm driving to work. Then I'm on the job, so I'm working. And then when I finish the job, I'm driving home. But then there's a period in between where I finish the job, and if I haven't got another one lined up, I'm just perching, should I not be going home? Because I haven't got a job and I shouldn't really be out. Where does that leave you if you're tramping? So if you finish the job or you finish in Rochdale and you live in Brighton, so you decide to put your head down for the night in the van, and someone knocks on the van and says you've got to go home, it's like, well, no, that's not the way it works. And what happens if I'm needed in Rochdale in the morning for a chemist delivery down to Brighton, So I suppose, and also the other thing is, you're pretty much self-isolating in the van. There's no one else around you. There shouldn't be, not really. So, you're parked in, just you, yourself in the van, should be relatively safe. I guess, like I say, if it ever comes up, and let us know if any of you guys have actually come encounter with it. But I think you just have to explain the situation, and hopefully, if it's all right, they'll see sense. So, yes, right now, before we jumped over this one. This is the hospital job. I had to do that job where I actually moved the ward out of St Pancras over to Euston. JA says, keep safe, you know the risks. Thank you, JA. Paul Bevan said, don't go to the hospital, go to the delivery bay. Well, we actually did drop off in the delivery bay. Well, actually, no, we didn't drop off in the delivery bay. We dropped off outside. But, and then had to take it inside. But, it had to be done. And Christopher Ziblis said, where's your mask? Anyway. Basically, first of all, thank you for all your support to JA and RK and Longfinger and Danny Boy and Matt and Kuriaton and Damien and all that. Thanks very much for your help, for your support on the job. I did get paid for it. So, thanks very much for, the fact that saying well done, but I did actually get paid for that job, so it wasn't a charity thing. As for where's your mask, well, the ward we were going into didn't actually have any patients in it. It was like an old geriatric ward that had been all cleaned and sterilised, and we were clearing it out, ready for an ICU ward. And the nurse wasn't wearing one. And I would have felt a proper Charlie if I'd have gone in with all the kit on and the gloves and mugs, and she's just standing there with a clipboard in a regulation uniform of sort of shorty one-piece dress and Martins. So you kind of think, well, if she ain't wearing one, I ain't wearing one. So... And we took all the we did all the relative things. We did all the social distances. We did the wash your hands thing. We did everything you can do. That's all you can do, isn't it, really? And I'm pleased I've done it. And there might be some more. And if there is, I'll go in. And because it's necessary. This is definitely necessary, essential work, and it's got to be done. In the meantime, who knows what's going to happen? If there isn't, I won't. Paint the hallway. Yeah, that's Tunnel Runner. Sorry, mate, I've jumped on you. You said about the banks offering loans and stuff like that. Yeah, I know they're offering loans and they say they're going to help us all out, but, you're going to have trillions of pounds. You're going to do this, and then you start drilling into it and you go, it's not quite that straightforward, is it really? And, you can apply for it, but the system's massively oversubscribed, so your application might actually get reviewed in August. Well, that's not a lot of copies, I need it now. What is going to happen? I don't know. One of the guys said, I've got to scribble down everywhere. He says what he reckons is probably going to happen. Sorry, I didn't remember your name. It'll be very tough for some people. Some people will fall by the wayside. And then when all this is over, then it will probably go ballistic. And he's probably right. The truth of the matter is, no one knows. Like Brexit. How's it going to work out? It's going to be good, it's going to be bad. No one knows. You just have to wait and see. Michael Banks is delivering a load of biohazard materials to Kings. He made a point. He says, I'm enjoying London. He said he normally avoids it like the plague. Good pun. Like that one. I know what he means. It's kind of like driving around in a video game at the moment. You drive around London, it's normally boom, boom, boom. Nothing moves now, you're just cruising everywhere. No problem at all. Very little traffic. It is, I've got to say, the job is actually much nicer to do with less traffic on the roads. But I'm not on the flip side of things. It's also there's jobs on the road. So the jobs that I'm getting are more sporadic, and I am bidding cheaper because I want them. I want to get them. Like, I figure that something's better than nothing. But like I say, it goes on forever. How long it goes on for, don't know. Right, enough about that one. Just a couple of other things before we finish. Right, for a couple of important points. Paul Forster has done a spreadsheet for us. We've done a spreadsheet. I've got to have a look at it. Thanks, Paul. I haven't had a chance because I've been running during the week, but I'll try and have a look at it today. This guy spent about 3 days on this spreadsheet, and it works out where it is, where it's from, weight, money, just absolutely everything. The man's in transport. He understands it far better than me. So I'll have a quick look at it and play with it and see if there's anything I understand. But he does say if we can get it up and running, he's hopefully going to make it readily available to everybody by Dropbox or something like that. So if that's, if that works out, thank you, mate, for your time and for your input. And finally, this is a very interesting point, this one. As I said to Valentine Berloff, his CX is finishing at the end of the week and he's in 2 minds of whether to subscribe or not. Apparently, according to RK, they're doing a scheme at the moment for a small fee, like 30 quid or so. They'll suspend the load alerts, but you can still get access to your invoices. So you basically suspend your membership for about 3 months. So if you want to, while this is going on, rather than just letting it lapse and then try and have to get back into it again, and I don't know if you can still get back into it and all that kind of stuff, apparently you can do this thing where you ring them up and you go, right, I'm nearly out. I'd like to, that's also obviously if you're nearly running out, I guess. I'm nearly running out, I'd like to suspend it, and they'll charge you a fee. You won't be able to look at the load alerts, I guess, but you will still be able to do your invoicing and stuff like that, which means you can chase your bills and still keep everything organised. And then when this current crisis is over, re-sign up. So that's it. I haven't driven you mad with all the videos. I'm going to keep doing them, I think, just to let you know what it's like out there. One of the guys did, so I was going to write his name down. He said, yeah, video every day, great. Seriously? Really? You really want to see me every day? I don't want to see me every day. No one wants to see me every day. But I'm going to keep it going for the meantime, just so you know what I'm doing and what's going on out there, just to give you guys an indication. Because if you're sitting at home, you're thinking, this ain't working, that ain't working. If I'm working, I'm working. If I'm not, I'm not. So I'll let you know. In the meantime, we're going to maybe another 2 weeks of this if they decide not to extend it. I think they said 3 weeks in total. We've done 1 week down. I'm incredibly grateful I managed to get to work all week this week. What the future holds, like I say, no one knows, but I will keep you informed. And most importantly, right now, take care.